I'm Eric Davidson. I'm professor and director of the Appalachian Laboratory of the University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science. I'm located in Frostburg, Maryland, in the western part of the state. This September, I'm going to be participating in a program that's called the Climate Ride. This is an organization that sponsors bicycle rides at various places around the country and even around the world to emphasize the importance of people participating to finding solutions to climate change. So the people that participate range from bicycle enthusiasts to local environmental advocates to academics like myself, scientists, to just people who are interested and concerned and want to do something to demonstrate their level of concern of this really important issue. I'm writing for a number of reasons. First of all, we're at a really crucial point, and every year in the past few years, I suppose I could have said the same thing, but I think this year it's especially true that since our government has decided to pull the United States out of the Paris Climate Accord, I think it's all that much more important that scientists step forward and say, in every way they can, tell the stories as to why we are so confident that the scientific evidence is overwhelming that humans are changing the climate. It's already happening. It's already having effects on the environment, on the economy, on human health. And there are things that we could do about it if we had the political will to do so. And we all have to, I think, find our own voice and ways to express that either through actions or through writing or telling stories. And for me, the Climate Ride kind of combines some of those things. Also, it's an opportunity to meet with other writers and to explain to them, many of them are not scientists, what I can about the science of climate change and how it's impacting the environment. Also for me to learn from them, what is it that resonates with the people who are motivated? What bit of the science have they understood? What is particularly meaningful to them? And why are they doing what they're doing? So it's a great opportunity to communicate with scientists and non-scientists about the science of climate change and about what people need to do to find solutions. Some people are curious to know, so is there any hope? Is our goose cooked? Is it too late? Because, if you read some popular press or even some journals, you can get the impression that that's true. And, my answer to that is usually what I learned from John Holdren, the former chief science advisor to the last administration, was that with climate change, there are three things that are going to happen. There's going to be suffering, there already is. There's going to be adaptation, there already is. And there's going to be mitigation, which is avoiding it, doing things like reducing emissions to avoid climate change. And all three are happening, and all three are going to happen in the future. And it's a question of the balance between those three. The sooner we mitigate to avoid the worst of climate change, the less we'll have to do with the other two. I'm also doing this because this is an opportunity as a fundraiser. So all of the writers are expected to raise funds and donate them to their charity of choice. And so I'm writing for graduate student support for UMCES. The climate change is a long-term thing where even if we did have some new actions to mitigate climate change in the next few years, we're going to be living with climate change for a long, long time. And so it's the next generation of environmental scientists who will be informing climate policy, informing environmental policy, who will be investigating what we know and don't know about how the climate is changing and how it's impacting ecosystems and impacting people and the economy. So I think our mission at UMCES is crucial for the long-term solutions to climate change. And people are important for that. And so the graduate students that we are training now will be in that role within a decade or two and be playing a very important part of that. I find cycling to be a really good sport for myself personally. I like to get outdoors and spend time outdoors. I like to see the countryside. Um, you know, my knees don't quite like me running anymore, and so this is a great opportunity for me to get out and cover some ground, and you see so much more, especially out here in Western Maryland, but I think it's true anywhere. When you get out on your bicycle, you're going fast enough that you get to see a significant amount of country, but you're going slow enough that you can take in what you see as you ride by, and you see a lot more than you would see driving by quickly in a car. And you can get off and take breaks when you need to. Every now and then you get you get the reward of being able to coast downhill just when you thought you couldn't go uphill any longer. So I find it to be a great sport. The ride is somewhat of a metaphor of putting us outside our comfort zone, both physically and metaphorically. In that to do something like this, you really have to push yourself. And not everybody's going to push themselves riding a bicycle. Some people need a little push to be willing to talk on a camera like this. Some people may need a little push to write an editorial. Some people may need a little push to think about how they might interpret, use their own, for instance, scientists use their own data to show how it's relevant to some aspect of what society is considering and debating. Some people might need a little push just to set up an appointment to go visit an elected representative, whether it's a member of Congress, congressional staff, or whether it's somebody in their own local government who is concerned about managing water or managing some other resource that might be climate related. And so that scientist's input could be really important. And just to establish those relationships, we have to kind of push ourselves every now and then outside of our comfort zone. So I hope, and also push yourself a little bit to open your wallet from time to time and, share what you can in the right place. And so if this is an opportunity to do this, I hope other people will be inspired by it.